Previously, we covered the classification of running shoes, identifying all the different types available on the market. Following that, we discussed running shoe rotation, explaining how different types could be utilized. In this video, you will learn which types of shoes should be used for different occasions by different runners. Or in simpler terms, which running shoes are perfect for you. An essential piece of knowledge for finding your perfect running shoes is understanding that every runner is different. For instance, for daily training, we recommend extra cushioned support shoes for new runners with leg issues, while for elite athletes like Eliud Kipchoge, we suggest the fastest segment of shoes for daily trainers. This video isn't about how to segment running shoes, but rather how to segment you, the runners, and then cross-match it with the appropriate segment. The first question you should ask yourself is, how many hours of sports do I practice per week? We ask the question because we want to understand how well your stability muscles and soft tissues are developed. It doesn't matter whether you're running or playing basketball. Any sport that requires active movement helps develop them. Therefore, you could be prepared for even the most demanding shoe models, even if you haven't run a 5K. It's also important that your training is consistent over a long period of time. If you haven't done anything for half a year and suddenly did 7 hours of training last week, that doesn't mean you're an experienced runner. In fact, it indicates zero positive impact on your stability muscles for us. That's why we specify that the number you provide should be consistent for the previous half a year. For example, if you answered 2 hours per week, that means you did at least 100 hours during the previous half a year. There are 3 options to reply: less than 1 hour per week, 1 to 3 hours per week, and 4+ hours per week. Each represents a different level of your body development and also helps us guide you towards some segments. For example, if you're not trained, we do recommend segments with extra stability to compensate for the lack of physical development. Whereas if you are well trained, you are free to choose more demanding but dynamic segments. Let's illustrate all possibilities. You might wonder why 1 to 3 hours per week is not enough for real speed segments. The reason is you are actually slower in fast shoes. When we run long distances, we're not only challenging our endurance level, but also the endurance of each small muscle in our body. For amateurs, it could be that you're full of energy, but your legs or particular stability muscles simply give out, resulting in you no longer using optimal running technique, running slower. And over long distances, shoes from less demanding segments may actually be faster. The second question is, what is your weight? We ask this question for a simple reason. We want to understand the amount of cushioning needed for your running exercises. The bigger you are, the more cushioning you need. And to be honest, the borders of these answers are quite flexible. We usually suggest that runners below 70 kilograms should consider less cushioned models, while those above 80 kilograms should consider extra cushioned models. The gap between 70 and 80 kilograms depends on your preferences. To simplify, we will keep only 2 options, with 80 kilograms as the dividing line. But keep in mind that in some cases, you could consider another option. Let's put all options on the map. At this stage, heavier runners may wonder why we don't recommend lightweight shoes. First of all, they are only around 20 grams lighter. Do you seriously think this will make a difference to your larger body? Second, it's the same response as in the previous question. Over long distances, shoes with more cushioning will yield better results because they demand less from your legs. The third question relates to the purpose you plan to use your shoes for, which you've already learned about in the running shoe rotation video. In this video, we use simple variant with only 2 types of pace: fast pace or comfortable pace. When selecting shoes for a faster pace, we recommend more demanding segments. For comfort, we suggest less demanding segments. At this stage, it can indeed be challenging to keep track of all the question results on one scheme. We want to create a better solution for our website that involves interactive elements, such as playing with questions and image changes. But I do not know how. If you can help, please feel free to drop me an email so that we can discuss how we can collaborate on creating a solution. Final question. Do you have strong overpronation? If you do not know what that is, check our video on this topic. The reason we ask this question is specific for each runner's segment. For very experienced runners, this question has no use. nothing is changed for them, since even though they have overpronation, their body already used to handle this problem. Their soft tissues have already developed mechanisms to overcome increased pressure on them. For runners with medium level of experience, this question allows or forbids to use segments which enhance problems of overpronation, in particular swing segments. If you have even slight overpronation, these segments make it severe because you have less support on the side of the shoes due to very big height of midsole. Also, it is bounce segments. Due to foam in these segments is usually much softer. Strong overpronation causes stronger compression on an inner side and as a result serious declination. While new runners with strong overpronation are recommended to use shoes with additional stability support, although even stability segment shoes are usually enough to cover the need. This is because their muscles and soft tissues are not developed and in risk of injury in case not provided with enough support at the beginning. Although after several months of active trainings, these runners can change toward less stable shoes. Now that you have access to all the options and schemes, you can decide which segment to explore. This article is also available in written format through the link provided in the description. If you prefer to delve deeper into each scheme, it's recommended to do so there. Is the method we offer sufficient? Are the questions we provide comprehensive enough? Not really, because if we do proper shoe selection, we also have to consider your foot width, angle, knee specifics, injuries, preferences, and more. Unfortunately, that is not really possible online. So for online selection, these are all questions. At this moment, you're still left with a question: I got matching segments. What are the shoes which do belong to it? That is something what we'll be covering in future videos and on the website, but it is challenging at the moment since I do not have enough time to implement it all. If you consider doing a small donation so that I can reduce the amount of work on my other projects, that would definitely help to make it faster.